Hi everyone, Corey here. We got Sunday with us this evening, and Evie may be joining us and a few other people. So Evie was nice enough to um, let us record tonight and speak some about Tales of the Crypt to hopefully get some more people to join this new hunt. So we won't take up too much of your time tonight. We'll just talk a little bit about what the hunt is and how to work it and the prizes and what's all involved and everything.
So you've been planning this for a while, Corey. So tell us, what is Tales of the Crypt?
Yeah, so I had the idea around this time last year, and I've wanted to do, I have several treasure hunts planned. This actually wasn't one of the first ones I had planned, but with the season is upon us, so I kind of made it more of a priority. So Tales of the Crypt is an online armchair hunt. I don't want to say treasure because there's not really treasure involved, but there are prizes involved. Um, and there's 5 puzzles that it consists of. And each one of the puzzles, if you solve the puzzle, will be $100 in value of some type of prize or prizes that I will not reveal until after the hunt is over. Um, and I wanted to do something different with this hunt. I wanted to make something more immersive. So, you know, most people on here are, familiar with the secret treasure hunt.
Yeah,
That's how I got involved in armchair treasure hunts. And so a lot of my thinking process, whether intentional or not, kind of always comes back to the secret. And I
right.
really liked how Byron took the secret, and it wasn't just a puzzle. He made it a story. There's a story involved in it. And I wanted to do something similar. I wanted to take a puzzle, but make it, integrate a story into the puzzle that may not necessarily be needed to figure out the puzzle, but makes the experience a little bit more suspenseful
Nice.
and immersive. And the best way I can describe it is if you've ever seen some of those board games, like if you go to Walmart or Target, they have like To Hunt a Killer and
Sure.
some of like the cold case files and stuff. It's very similar to that in terms of, you're given a story and documentation and information, and then you have to there's characters in the story and you have to learn about these characters and figure out what's going on. It's very similar to that. There's one difference with this. The character that the protagonist for this story is, you can actually speak to him, so it's
Nice.
live. So you can message him, you can contact him, you can comment on his post, and he'll reply to you. It's very interactive, and it makes the experience a little bit more, hopefully, a little bit more immersive.
Hmm.
So that was kind of the idea and background and what Tales of the Crypt is.
That's cool. I love the idea of being able to contact because then it makes you a character, right? In the story. Like you feel like you're a character. You're reaching out,
Yeah,
like you said, on in the group, there's journal posts, right?
yeah,
And yeah, and so you're getting these updates, and then you can reach back out. And so, I mean, it basically makes you a character in the story. So that's really cool.
absolutely. Yeah. So, and I'll get a little bit more into that here in a little bit, but I also want to mention that one of the there was some other reasons I made this hunt. One, I have a very keen interest in writing and stories, filmmaking, and everything. I was trying to find something that I could utilize when it comes to making puzzles, because I have a lot of other hobbies and interests outside of just puzzles and treasure hunting.
Yeah.
And two, I wanted to raise some money for 2 different things that I'm very passionate about.
Mhm.
One is um, a charity, a foundation for immunodeficiency.
Hmm.
So there are several different types of rare immunodeficiency out there. Some of them are very rare. Maybe like 1 out of 50,000 people will have it, and it could be mild to where it affects someone's daily life. They can't live life to the fullest, and it
Yeah.
just makes things very challenging for them. Or it could be as severe, as they it could be fatal. Any given moment of the day. And this is I actually have the disease, and it's something that I've been you know.
Yeah.
Struggling with the past year and getting
For
treatment
sure.
for.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still learning about it, but there's a lot of kids with this disease, and I'll see like pictures and stuff of kids, and they have to have, everyone with this disease they have to have infusions
Mm-hmm.
for improvement and to keep them alive. Most of the time it's weekly, sometimes it could be daily, and it just breaks my heart to see some of these kids to have to go through this at such a young age and have daily infusions. And it just I wanted to do something to hopefully raise some money for the kids out there that have this disease. And then secondly, I also you know I've been very vocal about the secret treasure hunt in terms of how it's impacted my life. It's helped me get through some pretty difficult times the past few years. Um, and a young woman by the name of Christina Vicario. She's a filmmaker, documentary filmmaker
Right.
out of Boston.
Mm-hmm.
She was actually on a live stream with George a couple months ago.
Now a cruise with George.
Yeah, now on a cruise, yeah. And she is making a documentary on the secret treasure hunt. And well, actually, I should say she's doing it different compared to how other people have done it in the past. She's making it about the community of
Yeah.
the secret treasure hunt. That's very important. Sorry, I didn't mention that. It's about the community of the secret treasure hunt. And I feel that, there's not too many of us, but the magic and wonder and everything that the secret's brought to me, I'd really love to see that, be brought to other people that aren't aware of the hunt. And I feel like what she's doing is great, and it's in good hands. She's doing it all out of pocket and in her spare time. So I did post her GoFundMe page if anyone is interested
Yeah.
in help supporting her in this process. So this hunt is free to play. You do not have to pay to play this hunt. You do not have to donate to play this hunt. It's out there if anyone's interested. And if you do choose to donate, there's no required amount or anything. Just whatever you would feel like would be fine.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, those are two really worthy causes, because a lot of times with it being such a rare condition, there's can also be a lot of travel involved and things like that, or a lot of the extra stuff that you don't think of, and then so yeah, and then it's really exciting about the documentary that's coming up, and so those are great.
And just so everyone knows, like if you donate to that foundation, like I don't see any of that money. It's just
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
just for the foundation to help, basically like if you donate to like a cancer foundation,
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
exactly the same.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Okay, so well, how does the Tales of the Crypt work? So there's 5 puzzles. So how does it work?
Yeah, so I can bring up one of them. Just give me 1 second here.
And the artwork is just fantastic, I have to say. That's great.
Yeah, so this is one of the 5 puzzles. So each it's very similar. It's similar to the concept of The Secret, where you have an image and you have a verse. I'm calling them a picture and prose.
Nice.
So it's similar but different. So each of the 5 puzzles will have the picture, and each one of the 5 puzzles will have pros.
Nice.
And you can tie one of the proses to one of the pictures, and there is a way to do that. I'm not going to tell you how. It's part of
It's part of the
puzzle. The difference is in most cases, I'm not going to say all, but in most cases, you don't need both. So you could use the picture to solve that specific puzzle, or you could use the pros to solve that specific puzzle. Like I said, in most cases. Having said that, I highly recommend trying to figure out which pros goes with which picture, because it will make things a lot easier, and it will help confirm and kind of expedite whichever puzzle you decide to work on.
Oh, so it is like the secret in that way. Then you have to match the pros and the picture.
You don't have to. You can actually use them individually, but it helps. It definitely helps to match them. So, for example, in this picture, you can use this picture and you can figure out the area or region or the state that this is leading to. You can figure out the city, or narrow down the area in the region or state with this picture. And then it just narrows down from there, and whether if you need to find a specific location or a specific object, depends on the puzzle, but the picture has that information. Same with the pros. So I will bring up an example with it.
Oh, nice. Okay. I love it.
And each pros does have a background, and the background is probably a clue or a hint as well. But for example, with this one, so all the proses are the same in regards to they're in order from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And the very beginning of the pros will get you to the area or state that you're looking for, and then you go down from there, and it narrows down the region or area or city up until you get to your specific object or location. Very similar to what you did with your choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
Same exact concept. So I didn't want to do like what The Secret does, where you have no idea if it's in order or not. Still have it
That's part of
it. 40 years. And some of the pictures and pros is not just words. Some of them you'll see some numbers and different things going on that typical puzzles you'll have to figure out. So one thing that I've done differently. She's a witch.
They just got back from trunk or treat.
I might go as a witch this year. One thing that I've done differently is I haven't released all the puzzles at one time.
Oh, that is the coolest part.
So, okay. And I've done that for a couple different reasons. One, this game goes on for 10 days. It's actually part of the story once we talk about the story here in a little bit.
Yeah.
And it will culminate on Halloween night.
Which is so cool.
And to get, it takes people some time to see the hunt, become interested in it. People have other things going on. They work and have families and stuff. Sure. So I wanted to give them time to, get involved, get interested. And I didn't want to release everything all at once. And then, 2 days goes by, and they, someone joins the Facebook group and they see all the, comments, and they're like, oh, so all these people, they've already figured it out, so there's no point for me to even look at this because I won't win because I'm so far behind. So that's one reason I didn't want to release everything at one time.
Yeah, I love that though, because I feel like it is that immersive experience. You're all seeing it new when it first comes out. You're getting these journal entries. You feel like you're in contact, and you can, and there's back and forth. That's really cool.
And also, I wanted to mention, I've had a few questions on this. The prose that I've released so far, I've been releasing it in sections. So this is actually not a good example because this is the complete prose for this puzzle. But if I go to another one,
And tell me the name of the protagonist again. It's Joshua
Keel. Yep,
yes.
Keel. Yep.
The name of the protagonist again. Sorry. Facebook.
Okay, let me bring these up real quick.
Which I love because I know where the name came from, which is a really cool backstory. So maybe that will come out like after like Halloween or when it's all solved. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people will know. Yeah. People will know eventually. Sorry, this is taking a while.
It's okay. So I love this because I mean, do you feel like? I mean, I feel like we've been around. Of course, the armchair treasure hunts, and even other puzzles. We've been around kind of that world for a few years. How different is it when you start creating your own and you start trying to use, I guess, the format of Facebook to create an immersive puzzle?
Well, for one, I don't know if I'll use Facebook ever again.
Yeah.
It's
I think we're going to have to start making our own websites.
Yeah. I actually have some stories later on to share about the experience so far, but Facebook makes things difficult. And I think if you use Facebook, you limit yourself to your audience. So, most people that are going to be in the armchair or puzzle community on Facebook are in a very specific age group. So if you're looking for to grow an audience or make some money off of a hunt, I wouldn't recommend Facebook. I used Facebook because I wanted to make this hunt for the community and the friends and stuff I've made and everything. And it was easier for me at the point that I'm at in my skill level to use Facebook as well. Yeah. Because I do have interests in making other hunts in the future that are hopefully more immersive, but I want to do more like film, I want to do more audio, video, and film and everything. And I wanted to do that with this hunt, but I just haven't had the time. Right. And there still may be some audio or video or stuff that shows up over the next few days potentially, so be on the lookout for that. No promises though. But making puzzles, the two things that I've noticed, three things I've noticed. One, it's a lot of fun.
Yes, it is.
To make puzzles and see people work on them. It's just a ton of fun. Yeah. Two, it's really interesting to see how people approach them and the ideas that they have. They'll come up with things that work perfectly.
Yeah.
That you never thought of. Yeah. But it's just not the right answer.
Yeah. I think every puzzle maker ever has said that exact sentence. Yeah.
And then, it helps making a puzzle really, like, if you're interested in solving puzzles, I highly recommend making your own puzzle because it really helps you get in the mindset of the puzzle maker and what limitations they have, and knowledge and, the technology that they have available and everything.
Yeah.
Like the Secret's probably the best example because, a lot of people go the research route and they do a ton of research.
Yeah.
And the reality is, Byron just wouldn't have had the time or resources to do that.
Yeah, especially for 12 hunts, like, because if it takes you a year to research and find all these things, he surely didn't take 12 years,
Yeah.
to make the puzzle or whatnot. But yeah.
So if this prose,
Yeah.
most of the prose that I've released so far, I've been doing it in segments.
Nice.
So you'll see, it'll say like puzzle, #puzzle C or whatever. And there's a reason for that, but I can't tell people. You have to figure it out. But so it'll say like part 1 or part 2 or part 3 or whatever. So those are definitely in order. You want to use those in order.
Nice.
But I haven't released the last lines of the prose.
So exciting.
So like these 3, for example, there's a 4th one that I have not released, and I've done that for most of them. Once again, I don't want, like tomorrow, I don't want someone to, figure out the exact thing that I'm looking for and comment, and then someone else sees it and they're like, oh, well, I'm not going to work on it anymore. I want this to be a fun experience for everyone. So
plus, true to life, if it were a real partnership and a real communication between you and Josh, you're gonna get that in increments, and you never know if a twist is coming. You never know if that next thing is going to change what you've thought from the past things. And so, yeah, that is so much more. That just really does immerse you so much more in the experience.
It really gives everyone, I hope everyone a leveling playing field. So whether you start, you were in the group of the first day, or if you join the group, Sunday, 2 days before it's, culminates, that should give you a leveling playing field, because there's going to be clues that you're not going to see until, the last day or two of
Halloween, which is so cool.
I can't, like, so I haven't told, anyone like when exactly they're going to release either. So like, you just have to be on the lookout. I highly recommend like going to the group and, setting the notification to where you get notified.
Oh, for sure.
When someone posts in the group, because there's only 2 people as of right now that can post in the group, the admin, which is me, and then the protagonist to the story, which is Joshua.
Yeah.
There may be some other characters that pop up.
Oh, that'd be so cool. So exciting. So tell us, now that we're talking about how are the submissions going to work when Halloween comes around?
Yeah. Let me bring up another picture real quick. Oh, this one. It's been a lot of fun making the art for this too. Like,
absolutely stunning artwork.
Like, anyone that knows me knows that I'm not a good artist, but I'm really creative.
Yeah.
And I use AI.
Oh, you are phenomenal with AI. I mean, I don't know how. So a lot of people are using AI now, but are having. You're the only one that I know that can get it to make.
It's really hard.
Yeah, to become what they see in their mind, to put out there. Yeah.
It can take, so each picture that I make, if it's especially a puzzle picture, I mean, you're looking at hours to make one.
Wow.
It takes me hours.
Yeah.
Which sounds crazy, because you think that, AI is making it, you just tell it what to do and it does it. But it takes a long time to
get it
make something that you want.
Yeah, because for anyone that hasn't used AI, and I've had a little bit experience in a past puzzle with one of my partners who's phenomenally talented um, at puzzle making, and he was also used a lot of AI. And I mean, it's just a fascinating process, but you have to give it in a pretty short amount of character space, right? You have
Absolutely.
to give, yeah, you have to give it you have to tell it what you want. And the way it's like almost learning it a new language kind of,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Where you begin to tell it what you want. Yeah. And so it's almost like it has, I mean, it doesn't read your mind because you're giving it that input, but yeah, when you first begin and you give it these simple commands and you get these beautiful pictures, but they're not what you pictured, and then you have that learning curve of like, how do I tell this thing how to give me what I'm picturing and what I want.
There's a lot of different styles you can do with AI as well. Like, for example, this one's called cyanotype,
Okay.
and that's what I use to kind of give it this very eerie, kind of just mysterious quality to the image. But you'll see in some of the others, it's like, for example, this one, it's a completely different style.
Right.
And I was going for more of because tells it the crypt, it's Halloween, I have a theme, and it still needs to be spooky and scary. So when I make the prose and I make the pictures, I'm constantly thinking like, okay, how can I make this, based in fear? And maybe
Right.
not for everyone, but at least for some people.
Yeah.
And because it is supposed to be a scary hunt, and I'm trying to make it a scary hunt.
Yeah. I love it. It's definitely mysterious, so for sure.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
mysterious for sure. I want it to be suspenseful, so
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
but yeah, there's been some really good comments so far on the Facebook group. It's been interesting to see
Nice.
the discussions on there. So submissions.
Yes. How is that going to work?
I think I'm going to do it the same way that you did for the Choose Your Adventure hunt. So I will post an email to the page and details, and probably Halloween day, I'll give a very specific time. Say noon, for example, and then you'll have from noon till midnight to make your
Nice.
submissions. I only want one submission an hour from individuals.
Nice.
That way I'm not getting bombarded.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That
sorry.
cuts out like that rapid fire just guessing.
Yeah.
You really have to put some thought into it if you're going to have it metered out. You don't want to waste your guess. Yeah.
And then I think I've gone back and forth a few times on it, but I believe I'm going to have it to where one individual can only win or solve one puzzle.
Okay.
And so that we'll have 5 different winners.
Nice.
I think that'll probably be the best way to go about it.
That makes it a lot of fun. Just check your spam. Always check your spam. That was something that came up in the dilemma hunt, and luckily it was the same person. It got kicked over to spam, but it was the same person whose email first got through, whose also email got kicked over to spam. But there was 3 in spam before the first one came through to the regular email or the regular inbox. So yeah. So I will tell you, yeah, be sure to be clicking spam, or at least before you announce any winners or whatever. But so let's see. So what has there been anything that's surprised you so far?
How much time I'm putting into this?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't like, it may not seem like it,
Yeah.
but trying to keep up with work and other stuff, and this week's been difficult. I mean, if you get to the page, you'll see Joshua posting at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah. You're like, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. That's the last thing I have to do before I go to bed.
Yeah, here's some posts I'll need to make tonight, so we'll see what time that happens. But
good puzzles take a lot of time.
Right, I should have. So I've released 3 of the 5 pictures.
Nice.
There's 2 more pictures to release.
Okay.
And those should be released over the next few days.
Nice.
Same with the pros. There's 2 of the 5 pros that I still need to release. Those should be in the next few days. So everyone should have what they need except for the last line of each pros, which they won't. I don't know when I'll release. I haven't decided when I'll release those yet, but it'll be closer to Halloween. Certainly.
Sure. Yeah.
And if anyone, if you're just joining or if you want to join, once again, even though it's been several days, you can join now. You won't be behind everyone else. There's not too many posts on there to look through. You could probably look through everything and read everything in half an hour or less.
Yeah.
And even if you join Tuesday on Halloween, you'll still have the opportunity to be one of the 5 to solve one of these puzzles. So don't be discouraged if you're just now getting in, or if you're not going to be able to look at it until like Sunday or Monday or whatever.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
In the featured, so definitely check out the featured tab in the group. All the important posts I have in the featured section. So if you don't want to look at the story and you just want to go straight to like the puzzles, go to the featured tab. They're all in there. It'll save a little bit of time, but having said that, I definitely recommend reading the story entries and journal entries.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And we've already had like a mini puzzle winner, right, with Tim?
Yeah, so I wanted to just spice things up a little bit. I did not have this planned at all. It just kind of happened. And I, you and I were talking, and we wanted to, have, give someone an opportunity to get on the Mind Games leaderboard.
Yeah.
And, I came up with something, which was interesting because I actually used something that I already had posted, but I never planned on actually using that as part of the puzzle or anything. It just kind of worked out that way, but Tim figured it out rather quickly. Props to him. So he's now on the leaderboard. Looks like Tim has a question for us. So.
Oh, okay.
Tim's question is, if you solve. Oh, there's Tim. Hey.
Yeah. Oh, I think he's out and about.
Okay.
He is watching with us. And so you said his question, if you solve without the pros, for some of them, do you need the last line to solve? Tim, you're taking all the mystery out of it.
So I don't want to say it's impossible to figure out or solve the puzzle without knowing the entire prose. It would be really difficult without knowing the last line, but not impossible, especially since you have the picture as well, which also gives you the solution. I would say it's probably, just from my experience of seeing how people typically work puzzles, I would say they probably would have an easier time working the pros and figuring out the solution than the pictures.
Okay.
The visual pictures, just from past experience, it's hard for some people to connect the dots.
So it sounds like, Tim, have your the email typed out, or have it ready to copy paste for when the solution line opens.
Yeah, so for each puzzle, and some I think one of them I've already told people, but some of the others I haven't mentioned yet. I will let people know when the time's right, but for each one, I will tell you whether you're looking for a specific object or a specific location. I
Okay.
just, you know, I don't feel like the time's ready yet to release that information.
Right.
I think I released it on one of them. I can't remember which one it was, but one of them I put as
It
part of
was
the
a little
post
tougher. So yeah.
and said if it was if you're looking for a location or an
Yeah.
object.
This is
And
quite suspenseful.
the I think the sometimes I'll give hints on the page. I'll from Corey Gilbert's
Yeah.
account, and sometimes I'll give hints from Joshua's account. But the 1955 Americana hint is I think tripping people up.
Oh.
So for one of the puzzles I gave a hint. The hint was 1955 Americana. But once it kind of similar to other puzzles, once you have if
Yeah.
you have 4 or 5 things leading you in the same direction, then other stuff's I would just use it as confirmation basically.
Nice. Nice.
So on the Sunday, I actually had a question for you.
Okay.
Did you want to take a minute and just kind of explain to everyone what the Mind Games leaderboard is?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Okay. So Mind Games is a new page. It's a public page. So it's not a group. It's a little bit different than what we've all been used to because we're also used to a group. But it's a page. And basically it's just a co-op. New puzzle makers can come and make puzzles and post them and give announcements. And it's kind of like a bulletin board, like a main hub for new puzzle makers. Because after you've been working armchair treasure hunts and in the hunt and the puzzle world for a little while, a lot of people kind of just start thinking about maybe I want to start making one, or what if I made one, or what would I do? So, and that's kind of where I'm at, and a lot of my friends are at. So we made Mind Games, and so it's that. So a lot of makers are going to join up and make puzzles, but we've already had a few, and so we have a leaderboard, which is really fun. So when you win and or you're the runner-up, in some cases, it's just going to be kind of to discretion. Like if there's somebody wins and 2 minutes later somebody else sends in the same thing, it kind of felt wrong to not include them on the leaderboard too. So we made a runner-up spot for a lot of things, and so you get points, and the points are just kind of based on the difficulty level for the puzzle. And we want to, a couple of times a year, we want to have a head-to-head of the masterminds, right? Yeah.
Like Jeopardy, it'd be like Jeopardy champions coming at it.
Yes. And so I think that will be a lot of fun. And yeah. So that's where we are, the leaderboard.
Yeah. So when are you thinking about having the first head-to-head?
Oh my gosh. I think we ought to do it. I think
New Year's would be cool.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's a really great idea. That'd be a lot of fun. We could do a New Year's party, or maybe like the night before New Year's, like that kind of thing if people are busy. But that would be great. That would be a lot of fun. And this masterminds head to head.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That would be fun. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get some points on the board.
I know that's the only thing that's gonna suck is that we're making the puzzles. We can't work. We're like, we don't have time to work them.
I really wanted to do your dilemma, but I had my wife's some family came from
family's always more important, but the dilemma was
Colorado, and I just didn't get to. But the Choose Your Own Adventure.
Yeah.
That one I got to work on it. I didn't get to work on it like earlier in the day, and then later in the day I was able to work on it a little bit, and then I just didn't have time to spend on it. But that one was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Like even if you did the same concept or format, I think people would really enjoy it.
Yeah, that one was a lot of fun to make because I always, you know how you come up with ideas, you're like, wouldn't that be cool if somehow the people searching for the treasure can somehow make the treasure hunt? Yeah.
Yeah,
So that was, yeah. So that was a lot of fun. And that was a lot of oh, there were a bunch of really bad versions of that game before it came out. And so that was a really group effort of the Anniversary Live team of editing that and coming up with ideas and making that one fun, because there were some really, really bad versions of that in the beginning, because it was all new, right? It's all new content. So it was like, well, I mean, we want to, yeah, there was some crazy versions.
It worked out great, and I think the most impressive thing about that one was you were able to get the level of difficulty perfect.
Thanks.
In terms of like how long it took to solve it.
Yeah.
Like you planned it for the day, and it took the day.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that's really difficult to do.
Yeah.
On trying to develop something to be solved in a specific time frame.
Yeah.
Like, once you try to make a puzzle, and if once someone tries to make a puzzle, it becomes very obvious. And then the beta testers. I mean, like the Cracker Jack puzzle. I had a few beta testers for it, and there was one that I sent them, and there was a huge mistake that I made, and it went back to my Appalachian vocabulary.
Oh.
I thought something meant something, and that's not what it's
everywhere else.
And if I didn't have the beta testers, I wouldn't have known that, and I would have looked like an absolute idiot if I released it. And so I think my biggest concern with this hunt so far, I think it's gone really well, but my biggest concern with this hunt, I had a few beta testers when I first started the first puzzle.
Yeah.
And then I haven't done any beta testing since then. I've done everything myself.
Yeah.
But it's when you're in the groove,
Absolutely.
like you have a feeling something just works and it flows.
Yeah.
That's how this hunt's been. It just, I haven't had any doubts about any of the puzzles that I've made. Like it's been odd, like it flows really well.
Nice.
But the story, on the other hand, I actually probably spend way more time on the story than I do the actual puzzle, because this puzzle for me is actually really easy for me to develop
together. Yeah.
Not easy. It does take a lot of time and everything, but the story takes a lot more brain power, I think, to make sure that it makes sense.
Sure.
It's logical, but it's suspenseful, and it's all going to tie in together, and that I'm not making any, plot holes, as they call them.
Right.
And like, if you ever do write fiction writing, this hunt is basically like, if you hear novelists talk about, you write your first draft and you write it really fast and you don't think about it and no one ever looks at it.
Yeah.
This story is my first draft. I'm making this stuff up every single day. So I have like a guideline that I made. Like, I know where I want to go, and I know what's happening, and I know the theme and the story structure and anything. But in terms of all the details, I'm just making that up when I sit down and I start typing it out.
Yeah.
And it just ends up being what it is. And
but
yeah, we'll see how it goes. But
do that. I think you can do that once you've got a well thought out puzzle and you're just going towards making things cohesive. Like, I think you can do that. I think you can kind of build it together for the story, Yeah.
And it's been interesting doing it this way, because you have the puzzle,
Yeah.
and you have the story,
Yeah.
and they have to be integrated to make the
Absolutely.
immersive
In
experience.
good puzzles, they are. Yeah, absolutely.
So I will say though, like you don't need the story to solve the puzzles, but it will like it ties everything together and makes
Yeah.
it so much more fun. And there are clues and hints in the story.
Yeah. Nice.
They're subtle. You gotta look like just like if you were watching or reading a thriller and
Yeah.
there's just little clues in there, but you may not know them at first. That's how this one's
Yeah.
written.
Well, also
And
in context, right? Like it
yeah,
sets the
absolutely.
scene. Yeah, and that's really important.
And like so in like novel writing or fiction writing, there's there's two types of people that they say. There's what they call um plotters and pantsers. So a plotter is someone who actually writes out a very detailed outline before they ever start writing. They
Right.
know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And once they have it, they just put words to the page, just like J.K. Rowling. That's how she did Harry Potter.
Okay.
And then there's pantsers. They literally like they have no idea what's going to happen. They just sit down and they start writing, and it just ends up
Wow.
being Stephen King's probably the most famous pantser. He just starts
Yeah.
writing, and then it just ends up however it ends up. But
I'd be a plotter, I think. Which are you?
so I'm a little bit of both. So I lean more towards being a plotter and trying to because I'm very interested in story structure and making characters interesting and
Sure.
just like with a movie, you want to feel something, you want to feel emotion, you want to care about the character. I
Yeah.
care more about that than I do actually like writing the words out.
Yeah.
So that all comes from the outline.
Yeah.
And so I tend to lean a little bit more towards that, but I've learned that if I do that, I'll never actually finish anything
Ah.
because I want it to be perfect. So I've
Uh,
learned the past year or two that it's best to do it a little bit of both to where you have like a journal you have like kind of like how I did some like I have guidelines I made like a journal guide
yeah.
outline and like I had like a story like I made a story bible like here's my characters here's what they're like and everything their purpose and their obstacles and then in terms of everything else I'm just making it up so that's
Nice.
the
Nice.
so Tim asked, are you a Goosebumps or Stephen King scary fan? You go first, Sunday.
I haven't actually watched Goosebumps. My littles are just turning 11, which I think they're now just this past year, getting into like the where we can watch a little creepier stuff, a little scarier stuff. My son loves it. He wants to watch it, but then he's like, nope, that's scary. Like it comes back later. You know what I mean? Like at bedtime, he's like, yeah, I want to watch it. He wants it. But it's like, so, but I'm a big Stephen King fan from way back. So I guess Stephen King.
Yeah, Goosebumps is I was born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s, so I'm a little younger than most of our community, but
Way younger than me.
the, Goosebumps was scary as a kid.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
yeah,
it's still kind of like it'll freak you out,
Yeah.
I think it's scarier than Stephen King personally, but and with Stephen King, so most people are probably not gonna like what I'm gonna say. I'm probably like
Stephen King novel as a grown up, and you're like, what?
I'm probably like the only like writer that will ever say that. I've never met anyone else that has this opinion, but so I love Stephen King concepts and I
Yeah.
love Stephen King movies.
Yes.
I'm
I'm with
not
you.
a fan of his writing.
Yeah.
It just like if you've ever read any of his books, it's good. It's just not for me because it's very like The Shining, for example. If you read The Shining, you get into Stephen King had a tendency to write about whatever his personal struggle was at the time is what the story would be about.
Okay.
The Shining is very much about his alcoholism that he was dealing with at the time.
Okay.
So it's not actually, the book's not scary at all.
Yeah.
And like, it's not scary at all. It's just literally he's talking about his alcoholism and like abusing his wife and kid like throughout the whole book, and it's just not like I don't want to be in that person's head.
Yeah.
300 400 pages,
Yeah.
but I love the concepts.
Yeah.
And the movies that people have made of his work are most of them are really good.
There's my favorite author for the genre is Dean Koontz. If you oh my god,
yep.
He's exactly the opposite. His writing is absolutely phenomenal. I can't explain it. Like, you can read a 1,000-page book in like 3 days just because it reads so quickly. Like, I mean, your brain just, like, I don't know how to explain it, but people have tried to make movies of them and they're just awful. They're terrible. Yeah. But so just the opposite. But I've, after reading Dean Koontz for years, then I tried to read Stephen King again, and I was like, what is this?
Yeah. His writing can be really weird.
I mean, the movies are great, and I agree with you. The storylines and the concepts are great. But yeah,
it's the same with movies. I love when it doesn't matter what the genre is, if someone can establish suspense and like a mystery question that you just, like a book, like you just turn the page, you have to know what happens. Or if you're binge watching a show, you just like, you can't stop watching the episodes. That's what I like. So typically it's more thrillers do that better than anyone. But if you can take that and you can put it into any other type of genre, like it's fantasy or sci-fi or horror or whatever, then you're going to have a book or a movie that most people are probably going to go crazy over. Like Stranger Things is probably a really good example. That first season, like you have no idea what's happening, and you just have to keep on watching the episodes. And
you have to. Yeah, you're right. You have no choice. You're like, I have to know what happens.
And the best ones are the ones that you don't know, like especially scary movies, you don't know what's going on. Like you have no idea. Like, is this like supernatural, or is it like a real person killing, or like when you don't have any idea what's going on, those are the best ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I tried to do that a little bit in Tales of the Crypt. So the name Tales of the Crypt, implies that it's there's something that's scary or spooky, which it is. And but in what regard? Like, what is it? Like, is it are there ghosts?
I love it.
Monsters? Is it a serial killer? Like, what's going on? So Tim asked, do you have names for the puzzle images? I don't. I didn't think about that. I would say it's probably similar to The Secret, where I'll probably name them what the solution is.
Right. See, hence why he's asking. He's like, hey, you got his name.
So yes, funny. I guess I do have. I didn't know that I had names, but I guess I do have names.
We have to do this again, Cory, because I want to get on here. I want us to get together with a few other people who are starting out making puzzles and just talk about puzzle craft, right? And why we want to make puzzles. And I think you hit on something earlier that has been kind of just at like an aha moment for me. Once you kind of start The Secret and you start looking at these puzzles and you start trying to incorporate these clues and where do they lead? How do you know? But it's making a puzzle. Oh my God. Making a puzzle or writing clues and things like that. I would like to say it makes you better at figuring out puzzles, but anybody that looks at my be like, I don't know if that does, but I'm trying it, so maybe it will make me better, right? at figuring them out. But it does make you look at things completely differently.
Absolutely.
It does make you look at things, and it kind of I don't know, but it's pretty fun. So I think we need to get together and we need to talk about puzzle craft and making puzzles.
Absolutely, that'd be fun. I know before you just kind of mentioned it. Once again, I'm going to reference The Secret all the time just because it's
Oh, that's our common
yeah.
knowledge base. So yeah.
The San Francisco verse, an object of Twain's attention.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So if anyone's familiar with The Secret, which I think pretty much everyone in the group is from The Secret, but
Right.
if you're familiar with The Secret and you read my prose, there's one or two lines that are awfully familiar.
Nice.
And there's one specifically, I'm gonna have to look at it and see exactly what it says. A chilling haunt caught London's attention. So there's a misspelling there, but it was intentional, just so
Right.
everyone. But it's kind of similar to the San Francisco verse in a way, isn't it?
Huh.
And when I was making that, it kind of put me in the mind of Byron when he wrote that line in the verse and like why he would do that and how
Yeah.
he would do it.
Yeah.
And I think it does kind of like help me figure out, kind of what his mindset was when he was writing that line in the Secret verse. I think it helps out a lot. It's definitely
Yeah.
it teaches you. I think it definitely teaches you that it's not going to be obscure information.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely not. It's going to be something obvious.
Well, also, it kind of turns it on its head, right? If you have to write a clue about something, then you have to start thinking about what are its distinct characteristics, right? Like you can't just give a clue. I'm going to be terrible about this, but like if you're writing a clue about a bunny, then you can't just write that it's furry. Because there's like a whole lot of stuff that's furry. You can include furry, but furry can't be the clue for a bunny, that kind of thing. And I thought about that because I write clues for the Easter egg hunt. But so you have to think about what are defining characteristics. So when you start writing clues and then you would start looking at other people's clues or clues for hunts or like The Secret or things like that, you start thinking about, okay, well, it has to be a defining characteristic. You can't just take one word out of the thing and then find every song that's ever had that word, or like every book, that's ever had that one word. Like you may be able to take a phrase and connect it to a song. Yeah.
And there's definitely some song, movie, and book.
Oh, nice.
In
Nice.
in the verses and pictures.
Yeah,
for sure. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the story real quick.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Just kind of I'm going to try my best to give a high level idea of what the story is about. It's kind of, if you can sum up a story appropriately, you're a good writer, and I struggle with that, so I must not be. So All Hallows Eve is the time where the veil's the thinnest between this world and the next, the other world.
Yeah.
And that's based on real legend and myth.
Right.
That's literally what Halloween is about, and it was where it originated from.
Right.
Because the stories go that because it's the thinnest between the worlds, that is when you have ghosts and monsters and stuff coming across from the other world and during the witching hour and everything.
Right.
And in this story, and the two worlds used to be combined, and the veil didn't really exist, or it was very, very thin to where certain people or creatures could go between the two worlds very easily.
Yeah.
Which explains a lot of our legends about elves and dwarves and trolls and dragons and monsters, but also things that go bump in the night.
Right.
At one point in time, a dark one arose, and he wanted to cause chaos in both worlds. And the two worlds came together and they, tore that connection to where the Ville didn't exist and you couldn't cross between the two worlds anymore, which is why a lot of times we don't see elves or dragons or ghosts or monsters anymore. But occasionally they do come through. There are still some sightings occasionally, especially on Halloween night when that Ville's the thinnest. Well, our character, Joshua Kill, he came across some interesting information. He has an ancient tome that belonged to his father, and that tome has information about the Ville and everything that happened before, and monsters, and the specific locations where rifts were made.
Wow.
Because 25 years ago, his father and some other individuals, they tried to open rifts. They wanted to bring these two worlds together again. For why, we don't know. I'm sure they had their reason. And I'm sure we'll probably find out the reason by the time the story's over with. And the Dark One came through the Ville 25 years ago. But something happened to where he was very weak, and he's been here since, but he's been growing stronger and stronger. And he's to the point now to where he's ready to make his move. He is going to open those rifts even more, and he's going to bring these two worlds together. That way he has the power to cause the chaos again. So Josh, he has this tome. The information, it's in a very unusual language of script. It's akin to Greek. It's very similar to Greek, and he's deciphering it.
Yeah.
And there's also other notes that were not there originally that were written in the book that it's like they're written in code, and he's deciphering those as well. And as a profession, he's a rare book collector. Because of the tome, that's what got his interest in collecting books. And he, as a hobby, is an online armchair treasure hunter. So he's in the community. His tag is writer. That's how everyone knows him. So people actually didn't know, they don't, kind of similar to, on Q4T, you didn't know people's real names or who they actually were.
Yeah.
So he's finding all this information out. He's in danger. They're after him. He needs help. He's all alone. So as he's deciphering the code and clues in this book, he needs help. So while he works on deciphering, on trying to figure out how to stop the Dark One and how to stop this from happening, he needs the community, and the best community to use are puzzle thinkers. They know how to decode things. So he's utilizing he needs help from the community to figure out where the locations are of the rifts. That way, while he's working on how to stop it, the community can give the locations of them, and then on Halloween, hopefully he'll be able to figure out how to stop it. They'll be able to figure out where the locations are. That way they can come together and prevent the Dark One from rising again. And
you guys are saving the world.
saving the world. And through all of this, it's becoming increasingly aware that Josh is seeing things. He's seeing ghosts. He's seeing monsters, and it's becoming more severe, more frequent. And he's still dealing with the loss of his wife. He lost his wife on Halloween a year ago. So he's still dealing with that trauma. And it was an accident, and they actually never found her body. So he's still, he never was really able to fully grieve of her loss because he didn't have any remains to bury.
Wow.
And he's haunted by her presence. He's haunted by that. And so he's, struggling to try to, recover and accept that and deal with that while also trying to save the world. And
wow.
The question is, these monsters and ghosts that he's seen, are they real, or are they a figment of his insanity, which is potentially,
Yeah.
losing it.
That's a great story.
So that's the story. That's the immersive experience, and I highly recommend joining the group. And if you are in the group or you do join, I ask that you share with your friends and family because it's going to be a lot of fun.
Nice. Excellent. All right, jump in there, guys, and save the world. You've got till Halloween.
I do have 2 funny stories so far, though.
Okay.
So I made this character, Joshua Kill. It's me. It's a picture of me. I'm dressed up and stuff, but it's me. And so he's showing up on people's, Facebook feed. Like,
Right.
add Josh as a friend. And people are, seeing this guy and they're like, that's Cory. Like, my father-in-law called my wife the other night. He's like,
someone stole his Facebook identity.
There's this guy on here. He looks like Cory. I don't know if, did he get his identity stolen or is, Cory have like a second family or something? Or
does he have a brother out there?
Long lost twin? I've had a couple people message me about that. My mom called me earlier. Asked me about it. My dad was concerned.
That's hilarious.
The other funny story. So,
that's my hubs.
Hi.
Hi.
So as everyone knows, I use AI to make my images, and I didn't want to use pictures of real people,
right? Sure.
For the other characters. So I didn't want to like license anything or try to. I didn't have enough time to like try to get like an actor or friend or whatever. So I used AI to create Joshua's wife.
Sure.
Vanessa Rose.
Mm-hmm.
Called her Ness. And I've never tried to create a picture of a person before an AI. And that was an interesting experience because I was, AI pulls stuff from the internet. So when you're, giving descriptions, they're, most people on the line that it's going to pull images from, they're going to be like supermodels and stuff, So I'm like, this has to be believable. It can't be out of Joshua's league, my league. So I was trying to go for like a late, similar to my age, late 20s.
Yeah, sure.
Late 20s, but I was trying to go for late 20s. And okay. So first, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have myself. I said young woman, and that was a mistake because it was like doing like Margot Robbie, basically, like a Barbie supermodel.
Yeah,
that's not gonna work. And then I went to late 20s, which is actually what I ended up going with. But I wanted her to be a little older. It still wasn't really giving me what I wanted. I did early 30s.
Yeah.
And just going from late 20s to early 30s. The public's perception of between late 20s and early 30s is ridiculous. It made her look like 30 years older, even though
it's like 4 years that it went.
So I couldn't use the early 30s. But I was if anyone gets to know me, you'll find out I'm quite a crazy person. And I'm soaking in the tub. I'm using AI to make this image.
How are you doing? Like voice act? Like what? Are you typing?
No, I'm typing, and I narrowed it down to like 3 or 4 images I really like.
Yeah.
So I send them to my wife because I always send her. I get her feedback on everything that I do. She's really artistic.
You're like, how do you like this for my wife?
Yeah, so I'm sending pictures to my wife of this AI that I made, and then same time my father-in-law is calling her asking about Joshua Kill, like who is this guy that looks like Cory, and then so it was just sort of
that's funny.
interesting experience that a situation that only I can get myself in.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Anyone that doesn't know me would be like, this person is insane.
That's pretty funny.
Okay, so Tim asked, is it a coincidence you chose the 40th anniversary of the Chicago cask, which is the Scottish-Irish immigration puzzle, which is the origin of Halloween? It is a coincidence. So I have Scottish-Irish heritage. I'm extremely obsessed with that mythology and the legends with Scotland and Ireland and the British Isles. Hopefully, I get to go one day. And I am obsessed with Native American mythology, and it's really interesting how similar they are. They're very, very similar. Like even like not counting like immigrants coming over and influencing American mythology, even going back to Native American mythology and how similar it is to Celtic mythology. It's very, very similar, and the Appalachian Mountains run, all the way, up and up into the British Isles as well. I don't know if anyone knows that, but it's just it's fascinating. It was a coincidence. So, what's your favorite? I had two questions for you. What is your favorite scary movie?
Oh gosh.
And my second question is, what is your favorite like scary-ish, spooky theme song? Like mine would be like the Stranger Things. I love the Stranger Things theme song.
Oh, that's a great story. It's a great show. I mean, it checks out everything, because I might go with that for my favorite, because it has everything. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what's coming next. You don't know. It could go anywhere. Yeah, no, I do. I agree with you on your point of the best is when you don't know, and you're trying to connect all the points just as quickly as the people in the story are trying to connect the points, So yeah, that's my favorite too.
I recently watched Poltergeist for the first time. I've never seen it before.
Oh yeah? Yeah.
And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I didn't realize it was Steven Spielberg.
Oh yeah.
And it obviously now it's kind of a little corny, but at the time I could definitely see at the time how it could be really, really scary. Yeah. And there was still one or two scenes that got me, but I love The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing. That's probably my favorite scary movie. Just because I love this, like how he does the suspense of it. Like you don't know who the monster is or the killer is. You don't know. Yeah. There's like 8 or 9 people or whatever. It's very suspenseful. It's really good.
If a suspense done right, I don't think you can beat it. Keeping you, there's just something about that edge of your seat, trying to figure out what is going on, trying to connect the pieces, what did you miss? Did I miss something? Did I see that small little look between, these two people that are going to explain it? If suspense done right is timeless. It is great. Like, it's the best.
So a few things I wanted to mention before we head off here. I don't want to keep you all night. I know you probably got other things to do. I didn't plan on going this long at all.
I know, right? But we're gonna wrap up. It's our first time not going 3 hours. So
yeah, every time we do a live stream together,
it's a lot of fun.
It seems to go like 4 hours long.
People should come on with us, because it really is a lot of fun.
That would be so. Yeah, I want to make a few more points, and if anyone wants to join, that'd be great.
Oh, not tonight, but yeah.
That's right. That's nice. That's a good. I haven't eaten dinner yet. I probably should. Yeah. So there is a theme to this puzzle, and if you can figure out the theme, it will unlock all 5 puzzles.
Nice.
Um, that's the big hint too for the night. I don't exactly know yet, but I thought it'd be really cool to do, if anyone in the group wanted to do a live stream, on, in the Tales of the Crypt
Yeah.
group, maybe on, Halloween night or something, if anyone would be interested. I don't like see it. It's kind of weird because we're on the puzzle maker. Like I don't want like I don't want to like do it. Like I could partake, but like I don't feel like it's being like I don't want to feel like forced,
Yeah.
Like I want people to be interested in it and them want to like with the secret anniversary hunt, like
Yeah.
the community is very invested. They want to talk about it. They want to have live streams. So if anyone is interested in that, that'd be great.
Yeah, let them know. Like put it in the chat or no, put it in the group if anybody's interested in coming on and doing a live stream. It's really fun, guys. It's just hanging out, talking about our hobby, right? Things that we really love anyway. So
if anyone like and just like the the anniversary hunt, don't send any messages. I'm not like if you ask questions and like if this is a clue or whatever, I'm probably not going to respond. Not because I don't like you. It's just I'm not going to treat you any different than anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you do ask a question, ask it on the Facebook page, in the group. I mean, and I may or may not. Most likely won't respond, but you never know. I might.
Well, if it's something that you already think, or they come up with something that is a point that could be clarified or whatever, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, one of the main reasons I don't do it is I don't like reply, like because when you reply to a comment, only a few people are going to see that.
Right.
So not everyone in the group can see it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't give everyone an equal playing field.
Sure.
So I had one last question for you.
Oh, okay.
Unless you need to go. If you need to go, we can.
No, I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay. One last question for you, and then I had I'll piggyback off your.
Okay.
Off your,
okay.
So what's the next puzzle? What's the next one?
Oh, okay. So I already have. Okay, so we did the dilemma, right? And there were 24 players for the dilemma, and the dilemma was insane, y'all. Everyone said that it was a blast. It was crazy, because I mean, I thought it was going to be I didn't think it was going to be I didn't think it was going to be a laid back pace by any means, but I thought I was going to be able to like leisurely scroll through these private conversations because it was on Discord. So I, as an admin of the group, I could see the private threads. So I thought, well, I'm just going to go through and I'm going to be able to like read and see people's strategy, and it's going to be awesome. Oh my God, it was chaos. It was a madhouse, but it was so much fun, and everybody was trading and everyone was negotiating and everyone was all figuring it out together, which I think was my favorite part because it was a strategy game and a game of deduction, right? And so for you guys that didn't play and didn't know, you got 2 cards. Everyone got 2 cards, and you had to collect all 21 pieces that would be put together to make this email address that you would then send the email to. So you had to work together, and you did not know how valuable your cards were. Some of the cards were really rare and some of the cards were really common, and you did not know what you were trading. And so it was really fun to see some people kind of jump in and be like, I have card 14 and 17. And then for the first person that did that, I deleted their post. I was like, wait, you might not want to give out that much information. You may, and you can, but that might be more information than you think that you're sharing. So you might want to hold back for a second. And then people started asking questions, which I thought was great. They're like, are your cards both over 10 and over, or do you have both? Are both your cards 10 or yeah, and so they started asking all these questions, and so it was really great, and it was really fun, and everybody said they had a blast. So I have
I'm jealous. I didn't get to play.
well, I have the dilemma, the hunt, right? Or no, wait, what did I call it? The dilemma treasure. Yeah, the dilemma treasure hunt.
Okay.
And so I figured out a way that was a tough part of the puzzles because I wanted to figure out a way. How can you be collecting these pieces along the way and still need to get like the vast majority of them before you even know how to put them, like where they lead, right? So how can you be getting, it's 21 pieces again, and how can you have pieces, how can you have 15 pieces and not already know where to go, right? How can you have to need all these pieces? So I finally came up with an idea that I think will work. And so, yeah, there's the dilemma treasure coming up. So
nice.
Yeah.
Is that going to be like soon?
Yeah, it should be. I mean, I already have it built. I should roll it out. So the on a weekend that my family were, yes, after, but the dilemma was on a weekend that my family was out camping, and oh, thank God. I didn't think that it was going to be, for me, it was a marathon. It was 5 hours straight of just answering questions, putting out fires, teaching people how to make private threads, saying, hey, this thread is not private, like everyone can see what you're saying or whatever. But it was a blast. But it was really fun. So I think I need another weekend when, they're out being busy and I can just devote straight to it. But yeah, so sometime this fall, I guess, or maybe early year. But yeah.
Okay, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Maybe you could somehow like tie it in or maybe like release it, or not release, I should say, but maybe like showcase it during the new year, the new year.
Oh yeah. Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be a blast. What I was surprised was I thought people would, and I even put it on like the flyers, is like you don't have to, it doesn't have to require your total attention. Like you can go and do something else. You can come back, catch up on the card table, and then, make your trades and stuff. But no one left. Everyone was there. Well, they did. Some people came and went, but the vast majority of people were like intense. Like they were on it. Like they were playing it. Like, yeah, it was really fun to watch.
So, I might step away from making puzzles for a while after this one.
Oh yeah, it's hard, right? It takes a lot of time. There's so much time.
It does, and I have so many pans in the fire right now. It's insane. I'm extremely overwhelmed, but I do have others I want to do and work on. I thought it would be, because I have some stories I want to write, some short stories. I have I've had a book I've been working on for years called Filled with Screams. I'm learning filmmaking. I really want to be a filmmaker one day, so I'm learning that. I'm writing some scripts for some shows and movies. I'm helping some other filmmakers on some of their scripts and movies and stuff. But in terms of puzzles, I think a Christmas themed puzzle would be really cool.
Yeah.
I may or may not do anything. I'm not sure. Right now it's just like I don't even have an idea. It's just, I think a Christmas themed puzzle would be cool. It's literally all I have.
That's it. That's the idea. Yeah.
And but I do have, so the very first puzzle idea that I had, I've worked on it actually quite a bit on and off the past few years.
Yeah.
But it's never, it's nowhere near being ready for release. But it's called Treasure After Death, and the Treasure After Death Hunt.
Nice.
And I've actually pulled some aspects from that into this one, but it's if things go according to plan, I'm going to try to work on it and release it sometime next year, probably
Wow.
spring or summer.
Okay.
But it will be boots on the ground,
Nice.
but you won't have to dig. Um, there'll be 4 puzzles for it, but they're all integrated once again. And it's very there's a really cool theme to it. So
Nice.
um
Exciting.
and it's similar, like I'll want to do it similar to how I did this one in terms of making it immersive,
Yeah.
having it like as a live experience and story. And um at its heart, it's about artificial intelligence
Ah, okay.
trying to, the age-old Terminator thing, try to rise up and take over. So it'll be up to the community to stop the AI from doing that.
Wow. Okay.
But it'll be a lot of fun, and I'm really the reason I hadn't worked like finished it is because I really want to do more like video related, like audio, video, film related stuff, where because that's
Nice.
not really, as far as I'm aware, that Cole May did some really cool stuff
Yeah.
with audio and visual.
Yeah.
Um, and as far as I'm aware, there really hasn't been anything like that. And I think that'd be really cool, is to make it more kind
That
of,
was really cool.
like short, like short video film type based hunt.
Yeah.
So that's kind of one thing. I might do like some few small puzzles here and there, or whatever, in between there. But I don't really have any plans outside of the treasure after death for next year, because it will take. And there's the money, like there's the prize part of it. Like you have to draw people's attention to it. You have to give them something for playing,
Yeah.
and it costs money. So,
Yeah, it does.
and I just don't have money laying around.
I know, right? Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
And that one's gonna cost me a pretty penny, probably.
I don't know. I mean, there's lots of puzzles that, or lots of hunts that people like to work on where the prizes are not $50,000. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, we're enjoying. I mean, look at The Secret. Look at the draw of it.
Yeah, that's the secret. It's like the mystery of it, though. Like,
yeah, like you want to be the one that solves 40-year riddle.
Yeah, and like it's the uncertainty and the mystery, and it's it's possible because it's been done before.
Yeah,
it's just, but it's also it's impossible and possible.
And it's impossible. Yeah, for sure.
And I really anyone who knows me online knows that I've spent a ton of time on the anniversary hunt.
Yeah,
since it was released.
Yeah,
and I took a sabbatical there last winter, but I've been there since day one.
Yeah,
and I haven't worked on it, and so 2 weeks before the anniversary of the anniversary live stream.
Well, you were working on the puzzle for the party. Yeah,
I was working on the fuzzy logic puzzle. So when it was September 23rd or whatever.
23rd, yeah.
So I haven't worked on anniversary hunt since the 1st of September.
Yeah,
and I really want to work on it. I want to figure it out.
I've heard there were some good hints that come out on the party stream that could be helpful. So I don't know.
We'll talk about that.
We'll not. That's all I can say is that.
We'll talk about that.
But hopefully there were some good hints that came out on the party stream that could be helpful.
But yeah, I just I don't know if I just really want to work. I want to spend at least a little bit of time on it. So
yeah,
I need to take
a puzzle. It deserves to be solved because it's a really good puzzle. So I hope somebody will hurry up and freaking solve it so that I can talk about it.
Yeah, it's a fun one. It's tough, but it's a fun one.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if it gets solved before the second anniversary.
Deadline?
I hope soon. I really hope so.
Hope
Because
so. I hope so too.
it's
It deserves to be solved. It's a good puzzle. It's it's a good puzzle. It's a really good puzzle.
yeah.
So yeah.
For me, like it's it. Like you get to a certain point where obviously you want to be the one to figure it out. Like you want to be the one to tie the pieces together
Yeah.
and solve it. You want to be the person.
Yeah.
But on the other side, you spend so much time thinking about it and
Yeah.
working on it, and you spend
Yeah.
so much effort in it that like you just need some relief. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you want someone to figure it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, you'll be a little disappointed if someone else figures it out, but you'll also be like you'll have a huge, relief off your shoulders as well.
Sure.
Because I also there's other puzzles I want to work on. There's other hunts I want to work on.
Yes.
I want to work some more on the original 12 or
Yeah.
9, I should say now.
Yeah.
And the tribute, I've never really spent much time on the tribute.
Yeah.
And there's some really great other hunts out there that I haven't really got to check out much on.
Yeah.
The what's the one that the Emerald Papers?
Oh my gosh, that was a great book. That was really great. It was the Armillery. I can see it in my head. It's and I didn't know that was the name for this, but the globes that have that are sitting in the base, like the gorgeous globes where it has like the large base and then it has that's what that is. Then
okay.
I'm gonna butcher it. I can't. Yeah, the Armillery Papers by Scott Earnhardt. Oh my, that was a great freaking puzzle. Oh, it was a great book. It was if you're looking for something that's like to work on in the evenings, just kind of like grab your book, you work on it in the book. It's not, you don't have to do all this internet stuff and stuff like that. I mean, there might be a little bit of, I don't know, there might be a little bit of internet, but not anything like, but it's great. It's really, really, really good. It was a great puzzle. I hope he does another one. Yeah.
There's some really good ones. Like I really want to look at, I want to check out
the one by Lisa Finch and Nick Spira.
The Incredible Treasure Hunt?
No. And again, I don't know what's wrong with me. And I have this thing, like I can pronounce it unless I think, I'm going to pronounce it wrong, and then I like stumble over it. But let me look it up so I don't really, but
Apocrypha?
Yes, that's it.
Was really cool. That was really cool.
Really cool. I've heard some great stuff about that.
Yeah, and
Nick Sarah and I actually worked on that Armillery Papers together.
Oh, nice.
And that was really fun. I say that we worked on it together. He
so that one's been solved?
Like he didn't tell me the answers, but he's like, hey, I figured out the puzzle on yada yada page. And I'm like, there's a puzzle on yada yada page. Like it was really fun.
But has someone solved that one? Has it been solved?
Armillery Papers? Yeah, it's not a hunt, it's a puzzle.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but it's a great puzzle. Yeah. So it is. So what you do is you solve. It's kind of a hunt. It's not a hunt, but you come, and this is said in like when you order it and stuff like that. You derive a location, and you send that location in somehow. It's another thing where you figure out how and what what the solution is, how to send it in, or how to get. Yeah, you figure that out as part of the puzzle, and then once you do that, you get a second set of information that is like it's really cool. It's really cool.
Before I hit my deadline where I had to do nothing but work on Tales of the Crypt.
Yeah.
My wife and I were playing some like the Hunt a Killer games.
Oh yeah.
Those are a blast. They're so much fun. They're very immersive.
Yeah.
and to like become like a detective and trying to figure
Yeah.
out who committed the crime and stuff. It's so much fun. And I was thinking that Tales of the Crypt I think would be a really good like game, like you like a
Yeah.
game or like a digital game or something that you buy.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. Maybe I could make some money on it.
Oh, right. I know. Right? So you keep working on videography. I mean, will try to figure out like how to make websites. It won't help. I mean, I won't be good at it, but I will try to figure out how to do it.
Well, I mean, see,
Maybe
that's the thing. Like
be
the board
better than
games are, yeah, the board games are great,
yeah.
and like some people are going to go that route no matter what because
Yeah.
it's physical, you can touch it.
Mhm.
But the engineer in me is
Yeah.
like, okay, but that costs money to actually
Yeah.
make something physical.
Yeah.
So if you want it to make really good gross margin, you're going to figure out how to do it digitally.
For sure.
You don't have to, have a supply chain and
Yeah.
labor and everything.
Yeah.
But it'd just be really cool to have a board game as well,
Yeah.
It'd be really cool.
I don't know, the digital on demand, like where you get a group of people together and they do it for like online escape rooms, but I think it'd be great to do for a puzzle where you just get a group of people together and it's like, I don't know, like $30 for, I don't know, however big your group is, 12 people or whatever it is. And you all just sign up and you work on it. That would be a blast to do. Yeah.
There was an escape room board game puzzle that I did a few weeks ago. It was called the Grand Hotel.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. It wasn't very hard.
Yeah.
It took time. It took probably about an hour and a half, but it was my mom and I played it. My mom loves that stuff.
Nice.
It
Nice.
was a lot of fun. So I have a book here. Since we're on the subject. So I was really excited about this one.
Okay. Yeah.
The Appalachian Chain Treasure Hunt.
Okay.
And it was on Mysterious Writings. That's how I found it.
Yeah.
And there was no discussion on it. There was no like no one was interested in it. And the prize was $500,000 in actual treasure, in actual gold.
Well, don't tell people about it. Just tell them.
Coins and antiquities and everything. And
so freaking cool.
It was released in February of this year.
Yeah.
And it's a Christian based treasure hunt. It's the first one. I think that maybe why no one was interested in it. Which is but I got this book and I read it and probably it's not a very long read, probably a couple nights.
Yeah.
And it's really fascinating how he did it. He's done treasure hunts before, even though he's a minister, like it's his hobby. He likes to do it. There was even a secret treasure hunt reference in there that, unless you know the secret, you wouldn't have known. But he was a big Forrest Fenn guy.
Okay. Yeah.
And there was a hunt in the 80s, early 80s. What was it? Something like golden unicorn or something.
Okay.
And he actually had the spot, like he dug there. And it was the right spot, but it was like 6 inches deeper than what he dug.
Oh, man.
It was like on a side of a volcano in like Oregon or something.
Yeah.
But he crafted this story, and there's like puzzles and stuff. And it's really good.
Nice.
So I got the book. I was reading through it. I was going to it was $500,000 in actual treasure.
Yeah.
So I was going to do nothing but work on
it. Yeah, right.
Forget about the secret. This is $5 million here.
Yeah.
And there's a key hidden in the Appalachian Mountains, and you had to figure out where it was at and find it.
Wow.
And I had the book for maybe less than a week, and then someone found the key.
Oh, son of a.
Yeah. So I guess all I know
Yeah.
he hasn't released much information. Two families were working together
Yeah.
from I think Massachusetts or something,
Wow.
and he hasn't said where it was at yet or anything. But I guess they went to the spot like 7
Got it.
different times and they couldn't find it, and they went the 8th time and they found it. But
Wow. Man.
so I guess he's came out and he said that he's going to like make a video
Yeah.
series where he goes and he like documents the journey and
Yeah.
then shows people how the puzzle worked and everything. He hasn't done it yet, but hopefully he does it soon. But I really want to know where it's at. I'm pretty sure, like even just reading through the one time I read through it,
To mind. Yeah.
I'm pretty confident it was somewhere in the Greenbrier,
Wow.
Snowshoe, West Virginia area.
Yeah. Wow. That's way cool. Okay. So what we got to do is we got to go to his author's website and we got to follow it so that when he does another puzzle, another hunt, then we're on it, man. We're just like one.
He said he's not going to do another one. So.
Oh, well, $500,000. Like, I'm done, guys.
I mean, that's the thing. Like he did. So it was really interesting. So he collects antiquities.
Yeah. Wow.
Like as a hobby. And where he's a minister, he collects a lot of biblical antiquities.
Wow. Yeah.
So he has a lot of like Roman and Jewish stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And like there's like daggers and like
so cool.
2,000-year-old Jewish coins and stuff as part of his treasure. But so he had some of it, and then a lot of it was donated by other people that he knew.
Wow. Yeah.
And then so like he didn't have $500,000 in the treasure.
Right.
So like it wasn't his own money.
Yeah.
Some of it was his, like he had ownership of the stuff, and then some of it was donated to him. But
wow.
I think he may have lost money on it.
Though,
of all the books, I don't think he sold enough books to. I mean, he's glad that he did it. Like he said it was therapy for him to make the puzzle, but I don't think he'll do it. I doubt if he'll do it.
It's hard to even fathom that there's a $500,000 treasure hunt out there and that people didn't really.
That's what surprised me. Like no one was talking about it, and I wasn't going to tell anyone about it. I was going to.
Right?
I was going to work on it all by myself. Like, you got like, where's Corey? I hasn't been on The Secret in 6 months.
Yeah.
I was so excited because I'm not. I live in the foothills of Appalachia, so, and my family's from deep in Appalachia, so I'm familiar with, that area. So I was really excited. Like, I'm going to know, like, I'm going to figure out this stuff before everyone else because I know the area, I know the history.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's too cool. Dang it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I had for the night. Appreciate you coming on.
A lot of fun. Yeah, I was happy to. We got to do this again. We got to do this. We got to get back up and talk about puzzle making, Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun.
Well, hopefully the next time we talk will be in like 2 weeks, and it's someone found the anniversary.
Oh my gosh! Somebody please find the anniversary.
So I really want to work on the tribute too. Like I want to, because I'm only 5 hours from Louisville.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And I've never been.
Yeah.
I intentionally have, like, I've worked on all of the original Secret ones.
Yeah.
I've intentionally tried to stay away from
the tribute. Yeah.
Because I really want.
It's got to be solved boots on the ground because, as JM said, he did not want to make a treasure hunt that could be solved just from like Google. He wanted you to be in the park, and so and that's a big old park. So there are a lot of places in the park where you can't really get. There are pictures and stuff out there from people who have been nice enough to take pictures and post them and stuff. But
it's one of those things where like I don't want like any preconceived information. Like
just to go
and like experience the park.
Smart. Yeah.
Having said that, just because I'm so involved in the Secret, I know, quite a bit about the tribute.
Sure.
And I know like what a lot of people think, some things are.
Yeah.
But I still try to stay away from it. That way I can just, go to the park, see it for
Yes,
myself and try
that's
to,
the way to do it. It's a smart way.
hopefully figure it out. But because
Yeah.
I with the original Secret, it absolutely does help if you go to the place. But the thing is, like, so much has changed
Yes.
in the 40 years that
Mhm.
yeah, you can go, but depending on where it's at, like you may not have any. It may not help you with any potential business
Right?
stuff
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
I will say St. Augustine. Like, if you work on St. Augustine, go to St. Augustine. Like, you have
Yeah.
to go
Oh,
there.
that'd be so cool. Oh,
And like, I know, the community is divided on, like, is it in Fountain of Youth? Is it not in Fountain of Youth? And I did not work on St. Augustine. A little worked on it a little bit, but I once again I intentionally didn't work on it because I wanted to go. Because
yeah.
I've been to St. Augustine before I ever knew the
Yeah.
Secret. It's my
Yeah.
favorite city. It's my favorite place,
Awesome.
and I wanted to take my wife because she's never been. And so we went last year when they had the meetup, and we got to see
Oh,
John Duke
oh, cool.
Montford's
Yeah.
original painting, which is
Yeah.
just
So cool.
breathtaking in person. And St. Augustine hasn't changed much, I don't think.
Right? Yeah.
So, and like,
That's cool.
for me, actually, like, we went like all over St. Augustine because there was many places that were of interest to me
Sure.
for the puzzle. And I'm like, oh, this doesn't really work. This doesn't really work. This just doesn't make sense. You step in that Fountain of Youth Park,
Oh my God.
and
Yeah. I'm with
if
you.
you are there in person and you see the things that are there,
Yeah.
like, it's just, if it's not there, I would be just
Shocked.
so.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't work on this. Like, if it wasn't there, I probably wouldn't work on this
Right. I'm
for
with
that
you.
because
Yeah.
everything lines up.
Yeah. As soon as I heard John Fraser say on that walkthrough video, and then the walkthrough video had been out for like, I don't know, 2 years by the time I'd watched it. As soon as I heard him say, yeah, it might be out at, that might be the St. John rock. And he's like, yeah, it's San Juan de Pinos.
Yep.
And then, yeah. And you're like, it's what? It's the Fort of the Pines?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Like the base of a tall tree? Like that's too great of a riddle. Like that's too perfect of a riddle.
So, like, it makes perfect sense. And
Yeah.
the thing that, like, because that, if you remember, that was the first discussion you and I ever had.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah.
It was like 2019 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I like even since, like, I truly believe that you were right about that specific thing. Even after, like,
Theory. Yeah.
after going and being there,
Aw.
it has to, like, that has to be the solution for that specific line.
Yeah. Aw.
Because the thing with the Secret is, and this for several of the puzzles, there's a few for people think that a cask is buried next to a tree in several of the puzzles.
Yeah.
And I just
have you ever
dug next to a tree?
Oh God, no.
You know,
and especially not expeditiously or getting out or quickly or secretly or any of that stuff. Yeah.
And then palm trees. Like, if you've seen the roots of palm trees, you're not digging next to a palm tree.
Yeah.
You're not digging within like 10 feet.
One solid mass. Yeah.
So you have a solution, like you're solved for that specific line. You have that, and it makes perfect sense from a puzzle. See, like, people take things so literal.
Yeah.
With the Secret, like, it just drives me crazy. They take it so literal.
Yeah.
And they forget that this is supposed to be a puzzle. He's not giving you the answer.
No.
You have
that's the whole thing. Like, think about like what got me hooked on puzzles and things. I remember being a kid and hearing that riddle about I have 2 coins that equal 15 cents and one of them is not a nickel. And you're like, as a kid, you're like, well, if one of them is not a nickel, it's impossible. Like you can't do it. And then you read the solution. One of them's not a nickel, but the other one is. And you're like, that blew my mind. It made me look at the world differently. You know what I mean? And you're just like, that's the whole point of a riddle, right? Like
Yeah, it's real.
it makes you think one thing, you go straight to one thing. But yeah, but there's a twist or there's a, whatever. But yeah, so that I love that I remember that falling in love with puzzles at that moment. One of them's not, but the other one is, so yeah.
So I mean, I I'm I'm an unusual individual to say the least. So I'm so crazy about The Secret, and I actually have a solution for the St. Augustine one.
Nice.
I figured it out when I was there,
Yeah.
and I've never actually typed it up or sent it in, and
Oh,
it's been
yeah.
well over a year, and I just need to take a day and just write it out, send to John Fraser. Hopefully he likes it, and I can make a trip down there.
Yeah.
But I had a picture that I took while I was there,
Yeah.
and I've only shared it with and Mike Stewart was there. He was there with me at the Fountain of Youth.
Oh, Mike. Yeah.
So he's seen it. I don't think he likes it, but he's seen it. I've showed I think one or two other people, and I will send it to you after we're done here.
Okay. Fantastic.
To me,
Oh, that's cool. I have to get off here. It's bedtime at for my littles here, so I got one sleepy one to. You got your little witch makeup. Okay, but this was a lot of fun. We have to do this again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Okay.
Well, thank you for taking all this time to talk to me about Tales of the Crypt. I'm sorry that it's been almost 2 hours. I did not
I enjoyed it
that long. Literally anyone else. Yeah, literally anyone else on a live stream, I probably would be, off here in half an hour. But for some reason, you and I want to talk for hours. So.
Well, it's just fun. Like one thing leads to another. Like, it's just when friends get together talking about something, the hobby, it's like somebody says something that makes you want to say something. Yeah. So it's been always a blast. So,
awesome. Right. Well, thank you. You have a good one. Bye.
Bye. Oh, no, remove.